Welcome to The Explainer. I am so incredibly pumped you're here today because, well, we're tackling one of the absolute most critical, yet somehow completely misunderstood phases of business growth. We're diving into a true masterclass topic today, successfully closing high-ticket clients without dropping your posture. So many operators successfully design this irresistible high-ticket offer. They build up all this impressive brand authority. They automate their infrastructure. But then, the very moment they step into a live meeting with a high-value prospect, they literally destroy the entire deal. Today, we are going to completely rewire how you handle these high-stakes interactions.
So why does this happen? Why do so many operators build the absolute perfect offer only to completely torpedo the deal on that final call? Well, the painful reality is that 99% of operators ruin their deals because right in that critical moment, they morph from a calm, sovereign business operator into a desperate salesman just begging for a transaction. They start pitching, they start arguing, trying to manipulate the prospect into buying. But listen, high-ticket sales is not about pitching. When you're asking a client to invest $5, $10, or $20,000, your tone and your emotional detachment are exactly what determine whether they see you as just another basic line item expense or an indispensable asset.
All right, let's dive right into this precise three-stage mathematical framework used to close deals with absolute composure. We've got Stage 1, diagnostic posture, Stage 2, price presentation, and Stage 3, objection neutralization.
Starting off with Stage 1, diagnostic posture. This is all about taking total command of the interaction from the jump.
Now, this stage requires a massive, fundamental shift in how you operate. You have got to drop the vendor mindset. Just look at the stark contrast in behavior here. A standard agency owner acts like that desperate salesman, right? Listing off features, software tools, hours worked, kind of like a late-night infomercial. But here's the thing. High-ticket prospects literally do not care about your tools or your ego. They care about the return on investment. Elite operators, on the other hand, act like a board-certified doctor. They don't just throw random medications at you and hope something works. No, they ask precise diagnostic questions, they identify the root cause of the pain, and then they prescribe a very specific treatment plan.
So here is your diagnostic protocol. When you're on that call, don't just chat. You need to politely but firmly interrogate their business pain. Ask them for their current monthly revenue. Ask for their exact financial targets. Dig into the operational bottlenecks that are stopping them. You see, you aren't manipulating them here. You're actually forcing them to articulate their own pain and confront the reality of the gap between where they are right now and where they desperately want to be.
And that leads us perfectly to this absolute gem of a concept. When the prospect verbally articulates their own pain, their subconscious mind automatically prepares to accept your system as the solution. This is such a deep, powerful psychological trigger. When you maintain a clinical tone and keep your emotional detachment, you naturally position yourself as a true specialist. You become this asset they absolutely must have, rather than just some commodity they can haggle over.
Moving right along to Stage 2, price presentation.
Okay, this is the exact moment where 95% of inexperienced operators just completely fall apart. We call this the insecurity trap. The very second the prospect asks for the price, weak sellers start to stutter. They hesitate. And worst of all, this is a total deal breaker. They immediately offer unprompted discounts. They'll see something disastrous like, our system is normally $5,000, but we can do it for $3,000 if you sign today. Why on earth do they do this? Because they are projecting their own financial insecurity right onto the buyer. By offering an unprompted discount, you are basically flashing a massive neon sign to the client saying you don't truly believe in the economic value of your own offer.
To completely avoid this trap, you absolutely must follow the definitive law of high-ticket closing. There are 3 unbreakable rules to maintain your elite posture here. Number 1, state the price with absolute clarity. Number 2, maintain total confidence. And number 3, deploy immediate silence. Let's actually practice this right now. When it's time to reveal the investment, you look them dead in the eye or right through that camera lens, and you state clearly, with zero hesitation, the total capital investment to deploy this system and achieve your desired transformation is $5,000. And then, nothing. You stop speaking entirely. You deploy a dramatic, absolute silence. Now, I know you might feel like you're sweating bullets. It's going to feel incredibly awkward in that moment, but do not speak. The prospect's brain literally needs this quiet time to actively calculate the value-to-cost ratio.
You have to remember this rule. In high-stakes negotiation, the person who speaks first after the price is revealed loses leverage. It's that simple. If you break that silence just because you're feeling nervous and you start trying to nervously justify your fee, you instantly dilute your authority. You go right back to being that desperate salesman we talked about. Just hold the silence.
Which brings us to the final piece, stage 3, objection neutralization.
So what exactly do you do when that silence finally breaks and the prospect says the price is just too high? Well, first, we need to totally redefine what an objection actually is. Amateur salespeople hear an objection and they start arguing. They get incredibly defensive. But a master operator knows better. An objection is really just a buying signal masked as resistance. If they say the investment is too high, it honestly just means you have failed to clearly demonstrate the asymmetric upside of the outcome. You don't need to argue, you just need to realign their perspective.
Instead of getting defensive, you reframe the entire conversation around risk mitigation. You have got to demonstrate that $5,000 is not some cost that they're losing. It is a capital allocation. By framing this dynamically, you completely shift their mindset. This is an allocation specifically designed to generate massive returns. We're talking something like $50,000 in business enterprise value over the coming months. You are literally shifting their brain from seeing an expense to seeing a high-yield investment.
To remove the absolute final bit of friction preventing them from signing, you just stack these tactical steps. You've already reframed the risk. Now you pair that with a clear performance guarantee or a risk reversal framework. Take the risk completely off their shoulders, place it onto your proven system, and watch the decision to buy become almost completely frictionless.
The era of manual client chasing is officially over. Diagnose like a specialist, hold firm on your pricing, and secure the financial freedom you deserve. But I want to leave you with this really provocative thought. What happens the exact minute after they say yes and pay you? If you revert back to manual friction, sending scattered follow-up emails, asking for files through random messaging apps, and scheduling totally unnecessary kickoff calls, you instantly destroy the elite brand authority you literally just finished building. A high-value client isn't paying you $5,000 or $10,000 to become your manager. They are paying you because you possess a streamlined professional infrastructure that delivers results with zero friction. The very first 60 minutes after a financial transaction set the tone for the entire business relationship. In the high-ticket universe, you absolutely must replace manual onboarding with an automated client success machine. The moment they complete their payment, an automated backend pipeline should trigger instantly, giving them a personalized, branded welcome portal with an orientation video that completely eliminates buyer's remorse. You need an automated intake engine where they securely submit all their assets and diagnostic data before moving forward. And you must establish strict operational boundaries. You are a sovereign business operator, not an on-call employee. So closing the deal is really only half the battle. Are you ready to stop the manual chaos, execute this matrix, and run a true micro-multinational enterprise capable of scaling to infinite capacity? Build the system and dominate your industry. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and we will see you next time.